Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen nabiyyina Muhammadi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'du, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of Ayyuh al-Walad. We are on the 7th council. Alhamdulillah, we're making good headway, good progression through this. Yesterday's, if you recall, was again questioning. Imam Ghazali was questioning the students' motivation and intentions behind his regular research and his regular studies. We carry that conversation on this particular point, again addressing the studies. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ayyuh al-Walad, ish ma shi'ta fa innaka mayyit. Live as long as you want. Ish ma shi'ta fa innaka mayyit. For indeed one day you will die. Wa ahbib ma shi'ta fa innaka mufarikuhu. And love what you wish. Love whoever you want. Love whatever you want. You will indeed separate from it. Wa'mal ma shi'ta fa innaka majziyun bihi. And do as you want. Do as you wish. For indeed you will be recompensed accordingly. Meaning these are the choices you have. Yeah? Live as long as you like, but death will come to you, and then you'll be answerable. Love whatever you like and love whoever you like, but again, you're going to separate from them. And finally, do as you please, do as you wish, for indeed you will be recompensed accordingly. Ayyuh al-Walad, ayyu shay'in hasinun laka min tahsili ilm al-kalam. What result have you got? Ayyuh shay'in hasilun, what have you achieved? What objective, what's the goal that you have got? Min tahsil al-ilm al-kalam, from engaging with and studying with the ilm al-kalam. Ilm al-kalam is on sort of scholastic debates in theology. Wal khilaf, and on rhetoric. Wat tib, and on the medicinal sciences. Wad dawarin wal ash'ar, and on collections of poetry and sort of linguistic texts. One nujum, astronomy. Wal arud, sort of mathematics. One nahwe, grammar. Wat tasrif, etymology. Ghayru tadi'il umari, other than you have wasted your life. Other than ghayru tadi'il umari, other than laying waste to your life. Bikhilafi dhil jalal, other than in opposition to your Lord the Almighty, al-Jalal. Meaning you, so this carries on from yesterday's conversation, that you spent a long time of your life, a significant portion of your life, in trying to gain these sciences of ilm al-kalam, ilm al-khilaf, so rhetoric, debate, kalam, you can kind of include within it. I know it's a little bit of an extension, but you can include falsafa in there, medicine, language, literature, poetry, astronomy, mathematics, grammar, etymology, or morphology. Other than you have wasted your life in opposition, contrary to Allah the Almighty. Now, this is quite a profound statement for Imam Ghazali to make. Now, if this is what he thinks about people who have dedicated their life to the Islamic sciences, what do you think his opinion is about those people who have not even dedicated themselves to the Islamic sciences? Because they're not even engaging with Islam. This person who he's addressing, at least he's engaging Islam. He's engaging with the subjects of Islam. He's engaging with the apparatus of Islam. What Imam Ghazali's point is, and what Imam Ghazali's argument is that you've actually wasted your time because you have become so engrossed in the means, okay? You got so engrossed in the means that you forgot your objective. These sciences that you were learning, their purpose was so that you get a better understanding of who you are with regards to Allah. That's what their purpose was. But you've become so engaged with them that you've tried to specialize in them. And then you've specialized in them. You've then started to compete with your peers and contemporaries. you've written about them extensively, you've lectured about them extensively, and you've lost your way in, as we say, you've lost the wood for the trees. Inni ra'aytu fi Injil Isa alayhi salatu wasalam. I have seen in the Injil of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, min sa'atin ayyuda al-mayyitu ala al-jinaza ila ayyuda ala shafir al-qabri, that when the person, from the moment the dead body is placed on his funeral bier, to the point that he is then transferred to the edge of the grave before he's descended into his grave, yas'alullahu bi'azamatihi minhu arba'ina su'alan. Allah in his greatness will ask him 40 questions. أولها يقول, the first of them will be, عبدي طهرت منزل خلق سنين وما زهرت منزلي ساعة. O Abdi, my worshipper, for years you have cleansed yourself, purified yourself in the view of humans, creations. وما طهرت منزلي ساعة. However, you have not purified yourself even for a moment for me, or for my view. وكل يوم ينظر في قلبك يقول, and every day he looks into your heart, he says, ما تصنع لغيري وأنت محفوف بخيري. My goodness is what surrounds you, but أما أنت فأصم لا تسمع. And as for you, you are deaf and you do not hear. ما تصنع لغيري وأنت محفوف بخيري. يعني ما تصنع لغيري. What are you doing for others? وأنت مخفوف بخيري, whilst you are enveloped in my goodness. أما أنت فأصم لا تسمع. As for you, you are deaf and you do not hear, meaning you are unaware of what's going on around you. So this part in which he quotes, Imam Ghazali quotes from Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, he says that from the time a person dies and he's being transferred from the purification process where the ghusl has taken place, and now his body is being moved to the place of burial, however long that distance is. Obviously now it's a little bit more complicated because of the paperwork associated with it and things we have to get involved. But generally speaking, it's not that long to go from the point where ghusl is done and now the person is going to be buried. He has to face 40 questions from Allah. Now we know from our sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ says that Munkar and Nakir come to this person, two angels, and these angels ask him questions. The key questions being with regards to his faith, with regards to the Prophet ﷺ, and him bearing witness to this. But then they'll go further into the person's prayers, the person's fasting, the person's zakat, and there's a small day of judgment. So not a capital D-O-J, but a small D-O-J, which takes place in his grave before he either is then allowed to rest or he is punished in barzakh until the day of resurrection. However, Imam Ghazali mentions that he has seen in the Injil of Isa alayhi salam that the human, the dead person, he will face up to 40 questions. And the first one is that your focus, again, this is about niyyah, that even though you're my slave or you're my worshipper or you should have been my worshipper, you spent so much time to look good in the eyes of the people. So again, if we connect this to the first paragraph, meaning when you were seeking all these different types of knowledges, you were seeking them primarily for respect amongst your peers, primarily for advancing yourself academically. Primarily, it was for those purposes. It was not at all to purify your position in the eyes of Allah. And every single day, when you look into yanzuru fi qalbik, when he looks into your heart, he will say, Ma tasna'u li ghayri wa anta makhfufun bi khayri. Why are you doing all this for others when you are enveloped in my goodness, meaning it is me who has given you all of this. And instead of acknowledging that, you, in essence, are associating partners, your attention is on the people. Your attention is on how you are being perceived by people around you. Amma anta fa'asammu la tasma. As for you, you are deaf and you are not able to hear, you're not listening to what is being said. So again, a very profound message that Imam Ghazali leaves with his student about him engaging, trying not to become too engrossed in his academic studies. Now, academic studies have a purpose. And the academic studies' purpose is to get to, obviously, it's very difficult for us to know Allah. So it is for us to understand our relationship to Allah. And when we understand our relationship to Allah, that should then make us behave in a certain way. Whereas he's implying that this person has spent decades learning all these various sciences, which are only a means to an end, but instead they've become so confused by engrossing in them that they have forgotten the end. And all they're doing now is just spending time continuously in pointless debates, in pointless studies, in continuously writing about things or debating things and spending hours and hours and hours in this preoccupation, which he warns about. So this is a common theme now we're seeing continuously from Imam Ghazali about admonishing his student who he feels has unfortunately lost his way. He's forgotten what his objective is, and instead the same means are being used, but he's now found another objective. And that objective is respect amongst his peers, and that objective is to be considered intelligent, knowledgeable amongst his peers, when the maqsad, when the purpose for knowledge is to understand one's relationship towards Allah. So that warning that's there, remember that warning is being addressed to somebody who's actually a scholar. So he's done half the work. The problem is now is what we call the orientation that's wrong. He needs to be orientating this with the intention towards serving Allah, not orientating it to win the admiration of fellow scholars or win the respect of fellow scholars. So one can understand how that would apply to somebody who unfortunately is not even aware of his religious obligations. So we'll bring that to a close there, inshallah. Tomorrow we'll be back with Ayyuh al-Walad again. We will be on counsel number 8. So the 8th counsel, inshallah, which is a short one. But because the next one's a little bit longer, I feel that we will just deliver that short one. And then where appropriate, we will deliver 2. But for now, I think we can be quite happy with just delivering 1 as we go along, especially with Salah time is being so close, Tarawih. And inshallah, so join me again tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.